Today on Rescue USA, a Hawaiian volcano erupts, and scorching hot lava endangers the livestock in its path. It's a dairy tale ending you'll have to see to believe.
This is just incredible. It's crazy.
And later, floodwaters from a Florida hurricane caused many to have to flee and leave everything behind.
It's moments like this that make it all worthwhile.
White sand beaches, palm trees, and teal green warm water make the Hawaiian Islands one of the most ideal vacation spots in the world. So it's hard to imagine giant plumes of smoke and hot molten lava coming down on the island getaway. But that's exactly what happened in June of 2018 when Kilauea erupted. Thankfully, many brave individuals risked everything to rescue those in need.
With lush mountains, dramatic waterfalls, and gorgeous beaches, Hawaii offers natural beauty everywhere you look. It's the dream of many Americans on the mainland to one day live in this island paradise. Just over 2 years ago, Axel Kratel and his family moved from Silicon Valley to the Big Island, buying a farm outside the town of Hilo.
Come here, buddy.
More importantly, they also bought into the spirit of the land.
In Hawaii, we have a thing called aloha. It's a way of life, and what it really represents is a strong sense of community, being connected to the community, being connected to the land. We call it the aina, and a very strong connection to the sea. This is what living in Hawaii is all about.
But on the Big Island, that beautiful land includes an active volcano, Kilauea. And in the summer of 2018, Kilauea erupted for 3 consecutive months, setting off a major earthquake that registered 6.9 on the Richter scale. The Richter scale is a numerical representation of an earthquake's actual strength, and it ranges from 1.0 to 9.0 and beyond. For Kilauea's eruption to be registered as a 6.9 means that it was packing a colossal punch.
This event was really one of the biggest events in Hawaii in the past couple hundred years. Fissure 8, which is right behind us, produced a very large channelized lava flow that carried lava roughly 8 miles from the vent to the ocean.
Fissures, or eruption fissures, are basically volcanic vents. Lava flows through them. Above ground, they look like rivers of molten lava. Below ground, they can be found in a myriad of pipeline-like channels of the same flowing lava, which we call lava tubes.
You could hear all the lava tubes in the ground hissing and howling, and you could hear the fissures in the distance where they sounded like jet airplanes. So it sounded like you were at the airport or something. It was just these.
That molten rock came spewing out of the volcano at temperatures approaching 2,200 degrees, leaving firefighters helpless against its force and the path of destruction in its wake. Kilauea eventually discharged approximately 264 billion gallons of lava, enough to bury Manhattan under 7 feet of lava.
It caused major disruption around the island, particularly in this part of the island, because the lava flow covered such a large area. The lava flow destroyed over 700 homes, so you can imagine all of those people were, immediately displaced.
Thankfully, the quick actions of first responders allowed the community to stay safe.
Axel's farm was out of harm's way, but others were not so lucky. Because the roads were closed and the path of that relentless, super hot lava, some people were forced to flee immediately, and they had to leave their livestock behind, which was in grave danger.
The thought of leaving farm animals behind just didn't sit well with me, and that's when I stepped in and started getting involved with helping out to get animals out of the lava area.
With dozens of defenseless animals trapped behind a red-hot curtain of doom, Axel joined forces with Cal Dorn, a former Marine helicopter pilot who now runs a sightseeing company.
It was through Axel's dedication and diligence and just drive that, you know, we could finally put it all together and get out there and begin to give it a shot at trying to rescue animals.
Once Axel secured government approval, which was a process that took weeks, the team linked up with a Maui-based animal wrangling outfit called Kiaya Hawaii to attempt a unique rescue mission.
Here was an option that I don't think it's ever been done before. I certainly have never seen it done.
Because they were prohibited by civil defense authorities from lowering humans into the lava zones, the plan was to rescue the animals by dropping giant nets from above and then hoisting them back to safety in a portable corral.
They're going to land in the first corral, and the KIA team's going to get them untangled from the net. These guys are used to dealing with feral cows. They can deal with anything.
With Axel and his team of animal-loving volunteers waiting back at the portable paddock, Cal and wildlife capture expert Jake Muse headed off to nearby lava flow looking for cows to rescue.
Yeah, so I think maybe if we come off the cell tower, we hit that narrow channel right there. That's a great call. Run down on the windward side.
Moments later, some stranded animals are in sight. Incredibly, Cal and Jake are about to go fishing for cows.
Come on, baby, one of you.
For those who live on the big island of Hawaii, the summer of 2018 will forever be remembered for one thing: the historic, epic eruption of the volcano called Kilauea, which lasted 3 full months.
Ultimately, the destruction of this eruption has been really significant. It destroyed over 700 homes, covered major roadways and highways, and really disrupted the lives of thousands of people here.
Fortunately, the severe damage caused by the volcano didn't claim any human lives. It did, however, trap some precious farm animals. Following the eruption, a determined group of volunteers, organized by local farmer Axel Kratel, were busy trying to figure out how to get the cows out from behind the raging rivers of flowing lava. With Jake Muse of Kiaya Hawaii at the controls, Cal Dorn operates a hoist arm with a giant net, trying to scoop up the endangered cows like some kind of supersized arcade game. Under such extreme circumstances, and using an untested method, there was no telling how this would go.
You're taking an animal that has no idea what's in store for them, or how small their area they're living in is going to get.
Come on, baby, one of you. Down, release. Yeah, try coming up now. Very quickly, backs up, right there. Yeah, big one, good. Oh, on the first try.
Miraculously, they got it on the first try. With the first cow safely in the net, the rescuers have a moment to take in the surreal spectacle below them.
Incredible. It's crazy. I've never seen one river as big as one of these on Kilauea this whole time.
The spirit of aloha and a lot of hard work resulted in this memorable image, a 1,000-pound cow levitating over a river of lava. But they weren't out of danger yet. They still had to land this 1,000-pound animal safely on the ground.
Okay, coming in on the first one.
As Axel and the other volunteers watched the cargo come in, his impossible rescue dream had officially become reality.
Not only did we make history with getting the cows out, we set a precedent now because there is a method that we've demonstrated with this netting system that you can go into very dangerous places without a ground crew on the ground and pull these cows out.
Okay, everything good so far? Yeah, maybe just give it a little pull to your right, yeah.
In the end, they would go on to rescue more than 20 cows, goats, and sheep over the next few days.
We got some cows out of areas that were totally burned over the next day. So it was the right time, right place, and meant to be that we got those cows out of there. You feel this real sense of accomplishment that you can pull it out and put it into some place. It has no idea where it's going. It's not very happy when it gets out of the net, but you know you saved that animal's life, and it really, it's what we need to do, right? You can't just leave something out there if you have the means to rescue.
Buddy.
In my view, Axel, he's kind of the hero in this whole thing. They just kept pushing until it finally came to fruition, and he He really is the reason we were able to get those large animals out.
Come on, girl. Come on.
Nearly a year after the Kilauea eruption, several lucky animals are enjoying life in paradise once again, now in their new home on Axel's farm.
This girl came out of the lava zone. You want to eat that? We are part of something greater than ourselves. There were forces at work here with people getting involved where you get carried along in the current. It was a stream of volunteers that came together that gave all these rescue efforts the energy that they needed.
Building relationships in communities, I know that that whole eruption out there brought out the best of humanity in a lot of ways.
When disasters strike, it takes an entire team and an entire community to fight back. From first responders and volunteers to your neighbors and everyone in between.
Sometimes floods can rise quickly, whereas other times they creep up slowly, almost unnoticed. Flooding is sadly one of the most destructive and costly natural disasters that affects us. Thankfully, there are first responders there to help soften the blow.
The Central Florida town of Kissimmee not only has a romantic-sounding name, but it's also a great place to live. With warm weather year-round, it's a desirable spot for senior citizens. Nestled on scenic Shingle Creek is the sprawling 425-acre Good Samaritan Society, a peaceful retirement village.
The community and the camaraderie of the neighbors is just awesome. You can be as busy or as laid back as you choose. There's always somebody to talk to.
You know, we checked out a couple of retirement communities and settled on Good Samaritan. We liked it because it was a big campus. It was also guarded. You feel safe here.
But that sense of safety can vanish in an instant when a natural disaster comes through. In September 2017, Hurricane Irma made landfall. This historic Category 5 storm wreaked havoc in 9 states, covering an area 650 miles wide. Good Samaritan was among the communities directly impacted, but believe it or not, things got more serious the day after Irma had passed through.
I believe that Monday night, going into Tuesday morning, here comes a flood. We got a call from emergency management that the Shingle Creek was going to start rising, and of course we prepared for the storm, but flood was something that caught us kind of off guard.
Hurricane Irma had passed, but it was still dumping record amounts of rain across the flat terrain of Florida. As that water accumulated and overflowed the creeks and rivers that should take it away, it had nowhere else to go other than everywhere.
Throughout the whole day, it just kept getting higher and higher and higher, which is what led to the mandatory evacuation.
When all this water started coming in, of course there was panic. We started going around and knocking on the residents' doors.
He told us the whole village was going to be evacuated. It's hard to comprehend those words.
When large-scale natural disasters strike, it's imperative for large institutions and facilities like Good Samaritan to coordinate all of their evacuation and rescue efforts with the local authorities.
Got the call from the battalion chief that we needed to report to Good Sam's to assist with evacuations.
In under 12 hours, as floodwaters steadily rose around them, all the endangered residents, many of them older and dealing with health issues, were needing to be evacuated from the home by first responders and dedicated Good Samaritan employees. Not an easy task, given the scope of the flooding. And the flood was still rising and causing epic amounts of property damage.
We kept watching or listening to the news reports on the radio, and they kept announcing the levels. You know, you're scared.
Some places you would pull up and there were people physically outside waiting for you. Other places, people didn't want to leave.
You have 15 minutes to get out. 15 minutes. What do you do first?
In September 2017, Hurricane Irma ripped through the southeastern United States. Yet it was the aftermath of the storm that profoundly impacted people in the town of Kissimmee, Florida. Serious flooding from nearby Shingle Creek had rendered hundreds of homes in the Good Samaritan retirement village uninhabitable.
Your first thought is, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? Who's going to try and help you? And we were surprised that different agencies that would come and help us. They gave us food stamps. Good Samaritan gave us some money to get started to replace some of the things that we needed, essentials.
Natural disasters are the worst of times, but they truly do bring out the best in people. I know in this case, the Good Samaritan Society found lodging for all those residents who had been displaced by the horrific flood damage.
I couldn't be more proud of them. I know that there was no life loss at a place that housed close to 1,500 residents. That tells me that it was the staff that we currently have in place and the hand of God that was guiding us.
Happily, those heroic actions had prevented any injuries. All told, Hurricane Irma was the costliest storm in Florida history, wrecking an estimated $50 billion worth of property. The village itself suffered severe damage to the 300 units, both skips and Ellens among them, which had to be completely gutted and renovated.
From what I understand, had it just been rainwater, it wouldn't have been so bad.
The water obviously is flood water, which contains sewer water. It's not a good environment.
To handle the overwhelming job of disposal and restoration, Good Samaritan brought in a property restoration specialist that's trained to handle difficult situations, both environmentally and emotionally.
We had safety people here galore, watching every single day to ensure that the workers were doing the right things with the mask, with the gloves, because obviously everything was contaminated in the units. We did have to allow the tenants to come in and try to get their valuables out. Some of them just said, I don't want anything. That's a sad thing when you walk away from everything that belongs to you. It's very taxing on you emotionally when you have to throw away somebody's stuff that's all they've had all their life, and they're elderly.
All the displaced residents were housed in other locations for 8.5 months. And during the extremely trying times of rebuilding, this entire community really came together. Good Samaritan management warmly welcomed the efforts of their new partners.
To make sure that our residents can come back to what they call home, and for them to be able to provide the work that they did and bringing that home back to life even better before the hurricane. To me, that means that they were also heroes.
It's about rebuilding this home, getting you back to where you were so that your life can carry on.
When the new furniture was delivered and the pictures were up on the wall, it was like those 8.5 months never happened.
Restoring property for us isn't just about architecture. It's about recapturing the feeling of home that people had.
And for Skip Reese, that long journey back from a ruined house to a perfectly restored one was something he will never forget.
Describe for me that day that you were handed your keys and you got to walk back into your home.
Well, I'll tell you, I wept like a baby. There's no words for it. Just every emotion you have comes over you.
After 30-some years of doing this, it's moments like this that make it all worthwhile. And just bless you guys and stay well and be well and continue to give to others.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
First responders don't decide to help, they just do. Here, whether it was floodwaters or flowing lava, our heroes responded immediately and without concern for their own well-being. It takes a special type of person to be a rescue hero, and we are so thankful to have them help us.